Hello, my name is Asha Sampath and welcome to this new edition of Business Africa, your magazine dedicated to the continent's business and economic news. And as usual, you can win $150 in our Business Africa game. More details later, but first, today's top stories. The young entrepreneurs from the African diaspora don't lack ideas to boost the socio-economic development of the continent.
The diaspora has a very rich capital that can be mobilized to support African entrepreneurs. We're talking about remittances of nearly $42 billion each year that are sent.
Creating mobile applications with affordable costs is possible in Nairobi thanks to innovative solutions.
I actually ventured into no-coding during the period when Corona hit. Okay, so we were locked down in our houses. We didn't have anything to do.
In Paris, the food trucks that serve meals on the go are on the rise. African variation with the black spoon, the first restaurant truck dedicated to the continent's cuisine.
Les différents plats que nous proposons chez Black Spoon, c'est les grands classiques.
The dishes we offer our clients at Black Spoon include the classics. There's a mafe, a ground nut-based sauce, chicken yassa, that is basically an onion sauce cooked with lemon served with chicken.
As I mentioned earlier, we are in Strasbourg for the second edition of the African Diaspora Summit, an event of which I'm proud to be the patron this year. And you can see it behind me, quite a lot of people here to participate in the various conferences and workshops. It must be said that financing development needs that responds to the current demand and needs of Africa is one of the big questions right now. And this question is even at the heart of concerns related to the improvement of trade relations between France and the countries of the continent. Last month, entrepreneurs from the African diaspora did not hesitate to participate in the Africa-France Summit organized by the French government in Montpellier to think about concrete solutions. Our journalist Lionel Cauchois met some of them. Listen to them.
The France-Africa Summit in Montpellier gathered men and women, business leaders from the diaspora to discuss together investment and business creation challenges in Africa. The African diaspora plays an important role in international trade between the two continents. In France, the diaspora represents 10% of the population and more than half of the African diaspora in Europe. A real asset that offers a myriad of opportunities for significant investments in Africa. Among the young binationals present, Melanie Keita, a Franco-Congolese entrepreneur, specialist in Pan-African investments, reminds us of the economic challenges for the African diaspora.
The diaspora has a very rich capital that can be mobilized to support African entrepreneurs. We're talking about remittances of nearly $42 billion each year that are sent. Of course, we will not be able to transfer all these remittances to productive investment, but part of these remittances could be directed towards sustainable development in Africa.
Being from the diaspora is also, for many of them, an asset and often allows the understanding of the expectations of the two economic regions, as explained by this young Franco-Beninese entrepreneur whose company, located in Alsace, is specialized in sustainable development.
I'm from the diaspora, and of course, it's a great asset. It's a dual culture, open-mindedness, understanding the languages and cultures from both regions, understanding of business and cultural codes, both in the West, in France and Europe, and also in Africa.
However, there are still many challenges to develop a business on the continent. For many innovative companies, a lacking technological environment and connectivity issues are often obstacles to their development.
What's quite important for us is connectivity. In French-speaking Africa, we seek to establish solid partnerships with local actors who can give us access to precisely this connectivity and to other technological systems. There is a need to have the whole value chain help startups like ours scale up. I mean incubators, technology infrastructure and mobile money.
The French government has been supporting African companies since 2018, focusing in particular on innovation. Funding and support programs have seen the light of day, and 3.5 billion euros are currently being invested in African companies until 2022. This expert in digital solutions for agriculture, who came to advise the young entrepreneurs who wish to launch their business activity in Africa, tells us about the role of digital innovation today on the continent, an effective lever to develop trade in Africa. Digital innovation is really the essential ingredient for development in Africa for two main reasons. Today, African countries are quite large territories with an important dissymmetry of information, which is reduced thanks to digital, especially in sectors such as agriculture or fintech, with mobile payment solutions or agricultural consulting solutions. According to the International Monetary Fund, Africa is currently experiencing an investment gap of some $285 billion, so the issue of financing for small businesses poses a challenge for many African entrepreneurs. The African market suffers from seed funding. Given what is happening on the continent, customers need to see things first. The feasibility, experimentation, pilots, which generally require seed investments. And it is this part of the funding that is often not met. TPE, TPI, very small companies, which sometimes have financing needs ranging from a few thousand euros to a few million. But today, all the big funds, the big donors, do not look at the projects below 3 million or 5 million euros. A request that seems to be heard by the French government, which, through its new program, Choose Africa Resilience, now targets very small businesses on the continent. Among these young entrepreneurs, many of them now also wish to have a social or environmental impact on the society. This is the case for this young Madagascan entrepreneur who has just joined here the New Generation Network, a support and knowledge-sharing program for digital entrepreneurs, initiated by the Agence Française de Développement. Through her company, she offers online training for IT developers, allowing the inclusion of young people from disadvantaged backgrounds.
We have to come out from this development aid system just distributing money. We have to create jobs. We need employment. When you give someone a job, they have an income. He or she can pay for a mutual health insurance and send his or her children to school, help their family and their community. Today, this is really what we want to do at SEINA. It is to ensure that Africans have jobs thanks to digital technology.
Faced with the high expectations of African entrepreneurs and a continent that is lagging behind in economic recovery, France is continuing its efforts to support entrepreneurship and technological innovation in Africa. 130 million euros will be deployed on the continent by 2025 for digital startups, which is good news to drag African economies out of the crisis towards recovery.
Uncertainties mounting for the economic future of Sudan after another military coup. Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok was allowed to return home. He remains under surveillance while several members of his cabinet are still in detention. The country, struggling to emerge from its international isolation, had secured $3 billion in aid from the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, as well as a pledge to restructure its debt. This progress is now in jeopardy. The United States has already suspended emergency aid payment of $7 million. And in the same economic region, Ethiopia seems to be increasingly discouraging investors. Moody's rating agency downgraded the country's credit rating for the second time in 5 months. The reason being an increased political risk due to the civil war in the north of the country and the delays in debt restructuring. Ethiopia can no longer access external funding until the issue is resolved. Yields on Ethiopia's Eurobonds, a $1 billion debt, continue to climb. Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, 3 countries that are leading a new movement focused on codeless technology for the creation of mobile applications. These applications, accessible to smartphones, are sources of jobs and growth, but they are also expensive to develop, hence the so-called low-code or no-code technology solution, a technology that saves prohibitive development costs by creating applications without coding, or almost. Our journalist Edwin Kariuki visited some of the inventors of these solutions of tomorrow in Nairobi.
Maureen Esther Acheng is wading through uncharted waters and creating a path that she believes will be beneficial to the next generation of techies. In her Nairobi apartment, she begins her day at midday, a day spent teaching students from all over the globe how to code easily.
Only 0.3% of the world's population can create software. That leaves 99.7% of the world's potential going to waste. And that is why no-code is so huge, because no-code is now empowering non-tech people to be able to participate in tech.
She is emerging as an authority in this field that she stumbled upon in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now she spends her days teaching other young people the art of creating apps using low or no code at all.
Like you would tell someone I build apps without coding and they will look at you like, how do you do that? I still get such reactions, but the more we talk about it, the more I talk about apps that have been built without code, like Richard, Duelito, Yadguru, Studio Time, Wheel Price. All these are global app businesses that have been launched without code, Revitize, New Notions, all these. So the more I talk about that, the more people understand that actually this can be done without writing a single line of code.
The no-code movement, as she calls it, is relatively new here in Kenya. Only a handful of students have shown interest in learning the ropes of creating mobile applications. Andrew Kisilu is one such man.
So what I seek to do is solve common people's problems with an aim of bettering their lives and bettering our lives altogether.
Andrew isn't your traditional techie. He is more at home on the football pitch where he plays soccer. But the COVID-19 pandemic closed the pitch and saw him hang up his boots, albeit begrudgingly. To while away the time, he joined Maureen's class. He says the technology is helping him stay away from mischief while offering solutions to many like him.
I actually ventured into no coding during the period when Corona hit. Okay, so we were locked down in our houses. We didn't have anything to do, and me being a major part of my day being taken by football, I was unable to go on with my day-to-day activities. So I had a lot of time on my hands, and what happened is through a friend of mine, I got to learn about the no-code movement.
Andrew, just like his mentor and trainer, believes that Kenya and Africa are ripe for the no-code revolution. The ability to create mobile apps that offer solutions to local problems is being touted as a game changer in the way small businesses operate.
I have seen people digitize their knowledge in so many ways, but just building apps, educational apps, social apps, business apps, using no-code. So we have to get away from this mindset of how is it going to put food on my table.
I've seen how much we struggle with connecting with top professional coaches. What happened is I felt the urge to tap into this problem we have. If I can be able to offer a kid somewhere an opportunity to connect with a top coach because they are actually talented, and also help the coaches because they are actually pretty committed with their day-to-day activities. So if I'm able to bridge that gap, bring the player to the coach, and have the coach look at the player without actually taking them or derailing them away from their day-to-day activity.
The disruption caused by the uptake of this type of coding has been met with skepticism and outright rejection by the more traditional coders. Maureen believes there's enough room for both to coexist.
The people who are creating these no-code tools are software developers, yeah? So the smart software developers are already creating these tools to empower non-tech people, while others are thinking, oh, you're now taking my job, oh, you're not as competent as I am. It shouldn't be that way. Of course, there's been a lot of backlash, but it's out of lack of knowledge, yeah? And there shouldn't be a war between non-tech and tech people.
Techpreneurs equipped with these coding skills like Andrew are not only offering solutions, but are also finding a way to earn and save that extra coin, money that would have been used to pay traditional coders to develop the same solutions at a much heftier cost.
First is speed. I mean, you can launch an app in a night, depending with how competent you are. So you don't need traditional coding. It will take you at least 2 to 8 months before you actually build a single app, depending also on the app idea. So one of the most advantageous things about no code is speed, and then the next thing is cost, because building a traditional app, it will require you at least not less than $10,000 to build that app.
Low-code developers are optimistic that the trend that is emerging will enable the majority of the youth in Africa, many of whom do not have training in IT, to get their hands on tools that will level the playing ground and give them a chance to compete on the global stage.
Where you have mighty networks, you will have...
Welcome to the second part of our show. Senegal denies having become a hub for drug trafficking in West Africa. Yet, traffickers continue to attempt to transport large quantities of illicit substances on their way to Europe. Authorities seized more than 2 kilograms of pure cocaine from a boat off the coast of the country last month. Gambia, where the authorities intercepted 3 kilos of cocaine in January, is also affected by the scourge. The Senegalese press is concerned about property speculation and the money laundering operations that go hand in hand with this trafficking. Opacity and corruption are starting to cost international banks dearly. The Credit Suisse bank, pinned by the American and British authorities, will thus have to disburse $475 million and cancel $200 million of debt owed by Mozambique. In 2013 and 2016, the bank organized transactions that turned out to be bribes. The bank had concealed the extent of the country's indebtedness by granting loans to 3 Mozambican companies along with a Russian bank. The country then plunged into a serious financial crisis. After the COVID-19 debacle, it's time for a rebirth for African tourism. And in Tanzania, the government decided to roll up their sleeves and take the sector in hand by allocating it $39.2 million, part of funding provided by the IMF to combat the effects of the pandemic. Concretely, this envelope will finance 23 projects, including the rehabilitation of roads to promote access to tourist sites, the holding of international exhibitions, and the renovation of airports. Other countries such as Kenya and Rwanda have also taken measures to stimulate tourism. Black Spoon, it's the name of the food truck set up by Fatignan in the center of the Parisian business district of La Défense. This young woman of Senegalese origin showcases the African gastronomy aboard her restaurant, a food truck. On the menu, yassa chicken, mafé, tiep, boudien, aloko skewers, tuna pastels, but also grilled meats and donuts. In other words, delicacies to visit West Africa without traveling. A report by Guillaume Durand-Drouin.
Tenez monsieur, un peu de piment? Non, ça va? Non, vous n'êtes pas piment? Bizarre. Donc pour vous, il y a ça aussi. Mafé avec la boisson?
Fatty Niang has a mission to bring African gastronomy to as wide a public as possible. Her concept is original, yet fashionable. At the end of 2013, Fatty Niang, a young 34-year-old woman from Senegal, decided to launch Black Spoon, first African food truck in the Parisian business district.
Moi, je faisais une formation.
I was on a training course for business management and creation. That's when I found out about food trucks, and right away I wanted to adapt the idea and make an African version. In the suburbs, you get all kinds of food: Lebanese, Thai, Chinese, European, but not African. I thought that was a shame.
From Tuesday to Saturday, Fatty Niang and her team take Black Spoon all over town to places where lovers of African food and gourmets keen to discover new dishes can tuck into the continent's culinary delights.
Les différents plats que nous proposons chez Black Spoon, c'est les grands classiques.
The dishes we offer our clients at Black Spoon include the classics. There's a mafé, a ground nut-based sauce, chicken yassa, that is basically an onion sauce cooked with lemon served with chicken. Then there's thé boudien, the national dish of Senegal, which is rice with fish and vegetables.
The ingredients she uses, mainly exotic drinks and gourmet food, are mostly organically grown. The meat is halal, and the fish comes from the markets in the Parisian Château Rouge district. In the financial district of La Défense, where midday meals are often eaten on the go, Black Spoon is a compromise between fast food and quality cuisine. Since its launch in December 2013, the food truck has been a runaway success. And every day, Fatih and her team make new culinary conquests.
I
thought the food was great. The different tastes were really good. The mafé is very filling and it's a really warm, spicy dish. It tickled my taste buds. Her chicken is very subtle. It's great that a fast food caterer has finally provided such refined gastronomic delights.
The Black Spoon aficionados come back for more week after week.
I'd heard about this type of cuisine, mainly from friends that told me about it and that were going to prepare it for me. In the end, it never happened, but now I've had the chance to try it all. It's very practical. The truck was right next to my work. I tried it and liked it a lot. It's authentic cuisine, a little spicy. It was nice. It's as good as what I make at home, at least as good. No problems on that point. It tastes great, and that's why I keep coming back.
2 years went by between the genesis of the Black Spoon concept and its arrival on the streets of Paris. This food truck is the fruit of a whole enterprise creation program, with support from the French Employment Agency, a local enterprise creation program, and a bank loan. Fatih Niang was granted $110,000 to launch her business, and success is clearly on the menu for Black Spoon.
We'd also like to have permanent premises and have a restaurant in Paris or in the Porte de Paris. And why not do deliveries as well? We're working on that too.
On average, a meal at Black Spoon will cost you between $10 and $16. That's a small price to pay to discover the subtle blend of gastronomy and street catering. A taste of sunshine.
It's now time to reward our loyal viewers of Business Africa. It's up to you to answer to the following questions. If you are drawn among those who have given the correct answers, you will win $150. This is game number 562, so listen carefully to the 2 questions that follow, and good luck. First question, where did the Africa-France Summit take place this year? Paris, Toulouse, Montpellier. Second question, what do we do with the no-code technology? Softwares, applications, computers. You know the answers. You can participate now by going to our website, africaonair.com, answer the questions, fill out your form, and good luck. And of course, don't forget to include your contact details, name, address, telephone, email, and the number of the game you are entering with the answers, of course. This game, for example, is game number 562. The winner will receive $150 as our winner every week. Congratulations, you gave the correct answers to our game number 561. Here are the details. First question, what's the AUF? The answer, l'Agence universitaire de la francophonie, or the Francophone University Agency. Second question, what is onchocerciasis? Answer, an eye infection. Well, that's it. Business Africa is over for today. I'll see you next week, same time, same channel, for a new edition of Initiative Africa. We will speak to Slim Halbos, Dean of the AUF, l'Agence universitaire de la francophonie. In the meantime, you can catch this program again on our news website, africaonair.com, as well as on all our social media channels. Feel free to share, like, and comment using the hashtag Business Africa TV show. Take care of yourselves and have a great week. Goodbye.